Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to go over lesson 28 from the Journeys textbook for first grade and the story The Kite from the book Days with Frog and Toad by Arnold Lebel. We're going to go over the vocabulary pictures and sight word pictures for that story. We're going to first do our turn and talk routine where I ask a question and you're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share out your answers in complete sentences using the sentence frames I've given you. So here's our learning target. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story The Kite from Days with Frog and Toad. So read it again with me. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story The Kite from Days with Frog and Toad. If you have a partner at home, here's our second learning target. I can have a conversation with the partner about the vocabulary words and pictures, or you can be my partner. Success criteria. That means how will you be successful at reaching the top of our learning mountain and reaching our learning target? So here's the steps for success. With my partner, I will, number one, look closely at each pair of pictures. Number two, say what you notice or see. How are the pictures the same or similar? Turn and talk. Number three, read each word and its definition. Turn and talk rules. If you have a partner at home, make sure you are eye to eye. And if you're sitting on the floor, knee to knee, or just sitting on chairs, you could face each other. If you're my partner, make sure that first I talk. So first one person talks, the other person listens. And then you switch, then the next person talks, the other person listens. And do not talk too long on your turn, or your partner will not have time to have a turn. For each pair of pictures, I'm going to ask you, what do you notice or see? And you're going to start with the sentence frame, I notice, and then finish your thought. For example, if you see this picture, you would say, I notice that the emoji has big eyes. So how are they both the same? That's the second question I'll ask you. And you're going to say they both. And down here, the picture of the man and his dog, you could say they both have gray hair, or they both have googly eyes. You can also agree with your partner or with me, Mrs. Pearson, by saying, I agree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, and tell me why, or I disagree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, and finish your thinking. First pair of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice that this picture is pointing to the second person in line. I notice that this picture has an arrow pointing to the second person who got second place. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They both show second place. So let's see what the word is. Second. A second person or thing comes after the first. Second. The boy is trying to tie his second sneaker. How do I use it? This is the second book I have read this week. Would you like to win second place in a race? Why or why not? What do you notice or see? So I notice a ball of string or yarn here. I notice a beach ball here. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They both show a ball, right? So the word is ball. A ball is something that is round and can roll. Ball. She practiced until she could hit the ball well. How do I use it? Let's throw this ball in the park. What is your favorite game to play with a ball? What do you notice or see? I notice. So I notice that this cat is walking across a bridge. I notice that these children are walking across the street. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They both show walking across something or going across something. So let's see what the word is. Oh, it is across. To go across means to go to the other side, across. The runners dashed across the finish line. How do I use it? The post office is across from the bank. What is across the street from your school? What do you notice or see? I notice. So say it out loud. I notice that this boy is tapping his head. I notice that I see a head silhouette here. So how are they both the same or similar? They both show a head. The head is the part of the body that has eyes, a nose, or a mouth, a nose, and ears. He hit the ball with his head to make a goal. How do I use it? I patted the dog on top of his head. When is it important to wear a helmet on your head? What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. I notice that this man is trying to listen to something or hear something. And I notice that this girl is yelling into a megaphone and he's trying to hear the girl. So how are they both the same or similar? I would say they're both trying to listen or hear something. So let's see what the word is. Heard. That is the past tense of to hear. I hear something or I heard something. So someone who heard took in sounds with the ears. Heard. The children heard clapping at the end. So you could say the children hear clapping, or in the past tense, the children heard clapping at the end of their performance. How do I use it? I heard that you were not feeling well. What is something you heard that made you happy? What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. I notice that there's a small house and a larger house. I notice there's a small girl and an enormous dog. So how are these both the same or similar? They both are large. Large means big. It was not too hard to ride up the large hill. How do I use it? This is a large box. What would you plant in a large garden? What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. I notice that this person is talking. I notice that this boy is yelling. So how are they both the same or similar? They're both talking or yelling. So let's see what the word is. Cried. Someone who cried yelled or spoke loudly. We can do it, cried the team. How do I use it? That's not fair, Jonas cried. What have you cried out when you were feeling happy? What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. I notice that this boy is thinking, what should I do? Or he's trying to make a decision about something. And this man is thinking, should I say yes or no, true or false? So they both show what? How are they both the same or similar? Well, I would say they both show them thinking about something, trying to make a decision. Should I do this or should I do that? So the word is should. Should is a word that you use to tell the right thing to do. What should I do? The teacher said that she should try again. How do I use it? I should water my plants. What should you do every day if you have a pet? So let's review our learning target. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story The Kite, from Days with Frog and Toad. How did you use pictures and context clues? So would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily said how each pair of pictures were the same. 3, I was able to say how most of the picture pairs were the same. Or 2, I was able to say how some of the picture pairs were the same. Or 1, I was not able to say how any of the picture pairs were the same. So let's look at our completed anchor chart and review the words we just went over. Number 1, second. A second person or thing comes after the first, second. Number 2, ball. A ball is something that is round and can roll, ball. Read them with me. Across. Across. To go across means to go to the other side. What word? Across. Number 4, head. The head is the part of the body that has eyes, a mouth, a nose, and ears. Head. What was number 5? Heard. Past tense of hear. Someone who heard took in sounds with the ears. Large. Large means big. 7, cried. Someone who cried yelled or spoke loudly. Cried. 8 is should. Should is a word that you use to tell the right thing to do. Should. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have a great day. You should. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.